When we are children, we all know that there are two magical words, please and thank you. We're going to make thank you one word because as a child you rush through it to get to whatever it is they gave you that you have to say thank you for. So when I say it is a word, I am thinking of the children's pronunciation. Thank you. Now please tends to be the superstar of this pair because it results in immediate gratification. You say please, you get something. But I would argue that thank you is the more powerful of the two magic words. Thank you's results accumulate and can engender feelings of love and appreciation in those to whom we say it. We do not always say thank you, though. We often forget to say thank you until reminded by our mother or some other responsible adult in the room, don't forget to say thank you. And then we say thank you and off we go. There are reasons we forget to say thank you. We're not bad people. There are reasons. We may be too young to appreciate the magnitude of what is being done for us. We may run out of time with those who are kind to us. We may be too familiar with those who give us kindnesses on a daily basis, and thus familiarity breeds complacency. And finally, there may be many small kindnesses that accumulate that we don't recognize until we reach a milestone, until we climb the summit of the mountain and recognize, looking back down, all of the support we had going up. I have been guilty of not saying thank you for all of these reasons. And today we'll rectify 3 of my own transgressions. In doing so, I hope to inspire you to take a look at your own life and to say thank you to those who love and support you. As a child, we are too young to recognize that those who provide food and shelter and comfort to us are very important in our lives. We are too young to recognize the magnitude of their actions. My mother had me when she was very, very young, and my grandmother raised me for the first 3 years of my life. When I was 3 and a half, I went and lived with my parents, and then Grandma was a constant source of unconditional love in my life. Weeks during the summer. My favorite story about Dottie, her name. She was little, had red hair. Picture a mix between E.T. and Yoga. She smoked, so she sounded like E.T. Dottie would make me ramen noodles, but before she would put them in the pot of boiling water, she would take the square out of the package and she would show me very seriously that it was one long noodle. She would find one broken part to be the beginning and another broken part to be the end. And then she would tell me that since she knew I could not possibly eat one long noodle, she would put it back in the bag and crunch it up for me. I never had long ramen noodles until I was about 13. Because I was convinced that it was one long noodle. And that is just one of those little childhood stories that you look back on and make you smile and help form who we are as grown-ups. We all have them. My grandmother passed away when I was 23. I was lucky she attended my high school graduation, my college graduation, and my wedding. And then she passed away, very young, very suddenly. I wish that I could tell her thank you. I wish that I could see her today, because I think that I am now the kind of person who can appreciate the foundation she gave me. Since I can't see her today, I will honor her by telling about her, of all the things she did for me and how much I love her. And in loving and telling you all about her, I am thanking her. So if there's someone in your life that you were too young to appreciate and then you ran out of time, share those stories with your children or with other family members who knew them. And in doing that, you will thank them. Now, another reason we forget to thank people is because familiarity does breed complacency. You all know my husband. I love him very much. And I have 2 boys whom I also adore. But by the end of the day, I am not particularly grateful to be meeting their needs. Quite frankly, by the end of the day, I am finished meeting their needs. And once we have gotten through dinner and bath time and bedtime, I need about an hour of meeting absolutely no one's needs. Actually, I usually just stare vacantly into space, drooling slightly on myself. Now, the obvious solution to rectify not thanking those that we love and who do make our life better would be to say thank you. But I like to creep in about an hour after they go to bed, when they're all curled up and warm and flushed and still. goes for Brian too. And I look at them, and that is when my heart refills with love and gratitude that they're in my life. That quiet moment recharges me for the next day, for the next 1,000 things I must provide to make a family work. And I whisper, thank you, and I give them a kiss. Now, it doesn't make them feel thanked, but it refills my store of goodwill. And the next day, until about dinner time, I'm a really nice person to them. At dinner time, my stores are once again depleted. So if you too find yourself not thanking those with whom you have daily interactions, because familiarity does breed complacency, take that quiet moment, tell them you love them, even if they can't hear you, and then the next day do nice things for them, and they'll know you love them. The final reason that we fail to thank people is because there is a series of small kindnesses leading to a final momentous occasion. Fellow Toastmasters, today is my number 10 speech. If I look down the mountain, it's littered with oxygen bottles, energy bars, scraps of speeches discarded, and all of you, fellow Toastmasters, have helped me to reach this goal. From the experienced Toastmasters who gave without reservation their advice and their encouragement and mentored each of us, to the new members whose enthusiasm renewed my love of Toastmasters, seeing someone come in and be nervous about that first speech. It's exciting, and then watching them have the courage to take that step, to step up to the lectern, to give that icebreaker. It's a beautiful thing. And it renews my enthusiasm for Toastmasters on a weekly basis. Spending time here with each of you renews my love of Toastmasters. And Toastmasters fills an important part in my life. You are the grown-ups I spend time with. None of you have asked me to put a bandage on your boo-boos, and no one expects me to cut their peanut butter sandwich in a circle. I value you as people in my life. And so, fellow Toastmasters, I know you have done many, many things for me, from just a random smile to an encouraging word. And I want to say thank you for getting me here. I am about to become a competent communicator, which will enable me to communicate competently. It's very exciting. And I have all of you to thank for it. You are some of my favorite people, and it's not something we say very often. So thank you so much. Those are all the reasons we don't say thank you. And I've given you ways to rectify it, because I can't do a speech without teaching someone something. We may be too young or run out of time, but you can honor the memory of the person who helped you and loved you and gave you many kindnesses by remembering them to your children or to friends and family. You can rectify the complacency bred by familiarity by restoring your own sense of goodwill towards those people you love in the quiet moments of the night. And you can then do nice things for them to show them that you love them. And you can say thank you when you've reached a milestone at which many people have helped you achieve. So, fellow Toastmasters, I invite you to just for a moment think about your grandmas, your grandpas, your aunts and uncles, your sisters and brothers, your family and friends, your mom and dad, even your pets. Because they have all given you something. And if you have a moment, pick up a pen or a phone and say thank you. It doesn't have to be thank you. It can be, do you remember that time I got my head stuck in the railing and you helped me get it out? They'll laugh, they'll feel appreciated, and the beautiful magic of thank you is that it makes other people feel good and loved. I'm Toastmaster.